Hello and welcome to this video. The visa bulletin for the month of October, which shows November cutoff numbers, was published yesterday. That is what we will be discussing in today's video. Let's begin. Welcome back to this discussion. A lot of you are already aware that the visa bulletin has been published. We were looking forward to it being published on September 8th or 9th, but it happened that it was published on yesterday, September 7th. And the big news in that visa bulletin is that all the cutoff numbers remain unchanged. The cutoff numbers that we saw in last month's visa bulletin for all the regions for the month of October remain exactly as they are for the month of November. Let me show them on the screen for those of you who do not remember what they are from the last month visa bulletin. Let's go over them quickly before we continue the discussion. The cutoff number established for the Africa region for the month of October was 5,700 and it remains at 5,700 for the month of November. Asia was at 2,800 for the month of October and it remains at 2,800 for the month of November. Europe was at 5,700 for the month of October and it remains at 5,700 for the month of November. The North America region remains at 4, Oceania remains at 375, the South America region remains at 500, and all of the exception countries maintain their respective cutoff numbers for the month of November. So for the month of November, the situation remains exactly as it is in the month of October. Now, this is a stricter measure than we had anticipated, but it can actually be understood. We had expected the cutoff numbers to increase just a little to accommodate few more cases for interview during the month of November. But that did not happen. And the fact that none of them moved at all suggests two main things. The first thing is that it was an error on the part of the visa office to have set the cutoff numbers so high for the month of October. I covered that to a large extent in the video that I posted yesterday. It's like the cutoff numbers that should have applied to the month of November were what they assigned to the month of October. The cutoff numbers for October should have been much lower than what they came up with last month. But they seem to have realized that, and now they have rectified it by maintaining the same cutoff numbers for the month of November, which is something good. As we did in the case of October in the last video, here are the cutoff numbers that applied during the month of November in the Africa region during the past 4 years. In 2019, the cutoff number that applied to the Africa region in the month of November was 6,400. In 2020, it was 5,600. In 2021, it was 5,100. In 2022, it was 5,300. Having it at 5,700 this year is therefore quite reasonable. So with the November cutoff number for the Africa region maintained at 5,700, we can see that the normalization in the cutoff numbers that I spoke about in yesterday's video has begun to take effect. So from now on, we can look forward to the normal progression in the cutoff numbers that we usually experience during the first half of the fiscal year. Now, for those of you who did not have the chance to follow yesterday's discussion, I'm going to include a link to that video in the description of this one. The second thing that maintaining the cutoff number for the month of November suggests is that increasing the October cutoff numbers had a greater impact than we had imagined. It made the cases to be ready for interview in the month of October up to 2 times what was normal. As I explained in yesterday's video, the cutoff numbers should be established in such a way that the embassies and consulates would be able to interview all of the cases that have been made ready for interview during that month. We even saw a reasonable range for the October cutoff number for the Africa region. But the cutoff number that was assigned to the Africa region for the month of October was far above that range. And so those who have been made ready for interview by the visa bulletin from last month are now divided into 2 groups. The first group comprises those who have already received their interview notifications and their interviews will be conducted in the month of October. And then the second group are those who have not yet received their interview notification, and such applicants will begin to receive them as of next week, and their interviews will be held in the month of November. In addition to those 2 points, maintaining the cutoff numbers in the month of November mean that the cases that were current for the month of October are the same cases that remain current for the month of November. And so if you are concerned by this and you have already submitted your DS-260 but you have not yet received your interview notification, then you can look forward to receiving it from next week up to the end of the month of September. And then cases with higher case numbers that expected to be interviewed in the month of November before now will no longer be interviewed in the month of November. They will have to consult the next visa bulletin that will be published in the month of October to see if their case numbers are current for the month of December. So what we can retain is that the just released visa bulletin concerns the same case numbers that were concerned by last month's visa bulletin. Those who are concerned and have not yet received their interview notifications can look forward to receiving it as of next week. And then those with higher case numbers should continue to follow the visa bulletin as they are released as the fiscal year goes on. So that is it. We have come to the end of this discussion. Thanks for watching the video. Let's continue discussing in the comment area below, and I will see you, God willing, in the next video. Goodbye.